A lot of people are putting hopes in working in jobs, and of course high-paying jobs. Little do they know that technology is changing everything. The era of technology is changing everything. There is a rapid revolution that is making certain jobs that we used to know before to go out of date, and making the hopes of searching for those jobs to be hopeless. So in this video, I shall be looking at jobs that will be out of date in the next few years. Meanwhile, people are spending time studying courses in school, putting their hopes to come out and work in those jobs. And out of this, make sure to stay tuned and follow me into the details of this video. Then you get to realize that things are no more like we used to know, because technology is changing everything and replacing existing jobs with new jobs. I usually make content of this nature on this channel. So if you watch this video and the content resonates with you, do not hesitate to like, subscribe, and in case you have other opinions you want to share with me and my subscribers, you can please leave it at the comment section. Your comments will be welcome. So now the very details. See you at the flip side of the video. Guys, you are welcome back. Most banks now are dependent upon smart banking or mobile banking. Less people depend upon cashiers for cash dispensing or withdrawals. Even most banks now has made it possible for their customers to deposit money directly through their ATMs or through mobile banking apps, where they can transfer money directly to their mobile wallet or transfer from their mobile wallet to their bank accounts, and making banking now more mobile, making banking now easier. The cost of employing employees and paying them huge amount of monthly salary every month will not be worth it. If banks can rely on smart banking, if banks can rely on e-banking, which is easier and much convenient, and this is going to go a long way to cut cost on people that own banks. In actual fact, we are witnessing banks gradually transitioning into e-banking, something that was for the West, but gradually Africa is embracing e-banking, which is becoming the norm of the day in banking, and this is taking a global trend. In fact, some people can even be at home, and the whole year, the number of times they probably went to the bank will be very few, because they can just be at home, and with some touches of buttons, they are able to wire money, transfer money to their bank accounts, or from their bank accounts to their mobile wallets, or do money transactions, whoever they want to do business with. And it's easier and more convenient. You don't necessarily have to go to the bank to join long queues and stand like a robot to go meet the cashier to do your transactions. And it's as easy as it is right now. Currently, lesser cashiers or tellers are needed in the banks, and sooner or later their services will be out of place entirely. When this happens, a lot of bankers will lose their jobs, and fewer people with technological orientation will be needed to work in the banks. Banks will not even see the need of establishing branches which could have employed a lot of workers. One other thing that most people seem not to pay attention to is the advent of cryptocurrency, which will further worsen the situation, because it's going to make money to go digital and defeating the very existence of cash and thereby the services of banks. In this case, the business of banking will be hard hit, and it will also be out of date. I know this will raise a lot of doubts in the minds of people, but of course, it's just a matter of time for this to become a mainstream reality, and those doubts will clear. Now, this takes me to the second job that we shall be seeing sooner or later going out of date, which is sports referee. Is your dream to become a sports referee? Football, basketball, netball, etc. Then you have to rethink your decision, because the road is blurry for people in this kind of profession. There is a new technological system that is being put in place to handle the job of referee, which is going to take off the traditional way of handling refereeing with a human being determining the rules of the game. And subsequently, we are going to witness this job being out of date. FIFA is currently advocating for a technological system which will employ the technology of AIs through video assisted refereeing, which will take over that job from human handling. Good one there. I remember the 2010 World Cup, Ghana against Uruguay, where Ghana complained of the referee being biased and robbing Ghana of tasting the finals of the World Cup competition. And again, I know some people will probably be in doubt, but forgetting that in the technological area, anything is possible, everything is possible. So doubting this is like doubting whether a plane can fly from Tokyo to New York, because things are possible. The next job that shall be disappearing soon, and that is the job of pilots, the job of being a pilot. Go to the schools right now and ask kids, what do you want to become in the future? Then you hear chorus answers, and among the chorus answers will be, I want to be a pilot. Well, this is not bad, but this is the kind of orientation they've gotten from their parents and their teachers. But I'm afraid this area of job shall be thrown away by the revolution of high-tech technological invention. A lot of people have not actually thought of this. Some might even become doubtful of its reality. But believe it or doubt it, sooner or later, it's going to become a practical reality. Airbus, the French airplane manufacturer, recently successfully completed series of tests by using A350 to 1000 XWB jet with no pilot in it to practice taxiing, takeoff and landing of the plane. Of course, I know a lot of people will be quite doubtful and see this not to be practically possible. But of course, that is the work of technology. Technology is to defy us and make things that seem not to be possible to be possible. So it's just a matter of time before we see this pick an impetus. This takes me to the next job that we shall see soon going out of date, which is the job of being a driver. There are some people that are earning their income, their living as drivers, either as commercial drivers, as government official drivers, as companies that have employed their services as drivers, or persons that are wealthy enough to employ their services as drivers. And people are studying courses in school to be certified drivers so that they can get high-paying jobs as drivers. The sad news is that technology is bringing on board self-driven cars, which will not need a man to man them because they are self-driven. This is what we used to see in fictional movies, but then it's becoming a reality. And of course, I know some people might think that that is something that is for developed countries or of the West, but forgetting that whatever happens in the developed countries, sooner or later takes a global trend and is embraced globally. Now just imagine some few years ago in the late 90s into the early 2000s, when mobile phones were becoming the order of the day. There were no smartphones, they were just ordinary mobile phones. And if you tell someone in those days that you could be anywhere in any part of the world and have a video conversation, see the person live on a mobile phone, they might doubt it, because they only know mobile phones to be used to make calls on air and not to see the person physically. But now what do we see? It is happening right now. So technology is growing so fast that it is hard for one to imagine, because things are getting very sophisticated and very technological. These cars has gone through testing and are ready for use. It's just a matter of time before we see this being embraced and on our roads. This means that there will be fewer errors on our road that will result into causing accident. I know a lot of people become skeptical and cannot imagine being in a car or in a bus where it's self-driven. They can't handle it. But it's going to become reality, because imagine with a human being, we can become tired and fall off the stair and accident can easily occur. We can become very complacent, we can become careless, and accident can easily occur, because this is human being that is managing the steer. It's a matter of time for us to see the possibility of this invention. Do you know that the field of health will not be left out? This takes me to the last profession that we shall see the revolution of technology having an impact on. I know this area is an area that is quite debatable. A lot of people are actually debating about it, how the impact of technology, the revolution of technology, will actually impact this area. And this area of profession is the nurses and doctors profession. In fact, this particular area, I'll not make a resolute opinion on it, but I'll leave it to the debaters to actually debate about it. But it's going to be a huge impact that will actually affect this particular area of job as well. I know this is a field a lot of people argue with a lot of passion, and even argue that it's an area that needs both emotional and psychological handling with the patient, both at the homes and hospitals. Though this might be a sound argument, but it doesn't rule out the fact that AIs and machines which are being invented currently can do the job much easier and safer. There is a whole new robotic revolution that is going through testing in health and nursing procedures, geared towards making work safer, easier, and more efficient. This new system, with highly technological inventions incorporated into AIs, shall be necessary to reduce human contact because of the advent of COVID-19. In fact, COVID-19 will actually revolutionize the way work is done and changing the history of work currently. There is currently a technology known as Da Vinci surgical system, which is a robotic surgical system made by the American company Intuitive Surgical. It is designed to make surgery easier, safer, and faster, and usually controlled by a surgeon behind a console. And the magical thing about this technology is that a doctor can be somewhere in the US, probably in Iowa, and perform a surgery on a patient in a remote community or remote town in Africa through the use of Da Vinci surgical system without having a direct contact with that particular patient, and the surgery will be done successfully and safer. Power of technology. Now I know the question that will be running through the minds of people is that, what if this system makes mistake? The actual thing is that robots and AIs and machines hardly make mistakes. In fact, they make less errors because they've been programmed to do a particular task. And That is what the program in which they've been programmed to perform the task. They are all out for that task, and once they are being programmed, they are being coded into performing that task. They does it so much with precision that the chance of making an error or a mistake is very, very, very insignificant. But with human, undoubtedly, the human being can become tired, can get shaky in handling some intricacy of operations or some tasks that seems to need a lot of precision. We cannot be so perfect in handling those kind of cases, unlike robots and AIs and machines will do. In fact, a study from the Johns Hopkins University shows that the third leading cause of death in the US is from wrongful misdiagnosis, and this is done through human error. Some of those errors could have been easily avoided, but the problem is that the doctors that are needed in some of these areas are specialty areas. They are not areas that we can easily find the specialists for those areas. So in that case, you can find medical doctors that are over 65 years, 65 to 70 years, but their services are still needed at the hospitals. And imagine at that age, their dexterity and precision is very low, and the chance of making errors, the chance of making mistakes is very high. Of course, there are other inventions, not only with the Da Vinci surgical system, there are other inventions that are also coming on board. And when these inventions come on board, it's going to reduce those chances, those tendencies of misdiagnosis that cause the death of a lot of people that should have not died. And now the question as to whether nurses and medical doctors will lose their jobs, I'll leave it as a matter of debate to you, the viewer. What is your opinion? What do you think? You can leave it at the comment section. Guys, this brings me to the end of today's video. If you have stayed with me from the beginning to this time, then that means you have actually kept me in company, and I appreciate your time and your effort. If you actually watch this content and you have found value in the content, please do not hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss any of my videos that I bring on board on this channel. I appreciate your time. See you again another time with another video. Bye bye.